Let's face it, people of my generation were impatient. We want things to happen tomorrow. We want things to happen like that. And we tend to forget about the journey, the enjoyment of the journey of whatever it is that you're doing to that point of success, right? Similarly, what I want to talk about today is the asset that we as young individuals have of time and how it relates to building wealth, investing for the long term, and accumulating value over that long term. What's going on, guys? It's Travis Fonderson from the Young Funds program. It's good to see you guys again in this chapter 3 that we now have. If you haven't seen our prior piece of content, whether that be chapter 1, an investor's glossary, or chapter 2, the opportunity cost of only saving your money, please just go back, either check out our website or our YouTube channel, and you'll find out what we were talking about in those two content releases. But today we're actually going to be talking about the advantage that we as young individuals have of time when it comes to investing. See, at the Young Funds program, we promote the idea and the concept of getting young individuals to invest their money for the long term, right? So in chapter 2, we covered the sort of aspect of why investing should be a thing for anyone, and in this content piece we're gonna cover the relation to why we're encouraging young people to do it. And the reason we're encouraging young people to do it is because they have that advantage of their whole life. They have that advantage of time, and they have that asset of time. So without further ado, let's get right into what we have. One more thing I do want to say is this content was brought to you by Luis Talavo, one of our project coordinators. I'll leave his information in the description below if you guys have any further questions for him specifically, or really anyone, just reach out to any one of us. But I'll just put his stuff in the description, as a sign of courtesy. Appreciate that, Luis, and shout out to you. But honestly, today it's not going to be a long one. I actually think I'm just going to show you a depiction of a model that we found in an article that we were actually reading one time when we were preparing content for this release. And it essentially shows two people. Their names are David and Bruce, and David actually starts to invest his money from the age of 19, and Bruce, he doesn't start investing till the age of 27. I'll get to that in just a sec. We'll go to my laptop, but just as an overall sort of a statement that I want to put out there. For one, we all know Warren Buffett. Everyone knows him for being rich and for being the most successful investor to live, I guess you could sort of say. And one of my favorite quotes by him actually goes something like this. He says he made his first investment at the age of 11, and before that, he was wasting his life. Now, a lot of people may say that's drastic, but if we break down what he's trying to say, he's basically trying to say that time was a huge factor to attribute to his investing success, and understandably so, right? If we look at theories such as compounding interest, which basically means making interest on interest, so you're making return on your initial return for years, at a time, really compounds. It can cause wealth to accumulate, at an exponential rate. And I mean, anyone who's really taken like high school, or probably even, if I remember correctly, like elementary school math, you will remember those equations that we always did with compound interest. And the way you sort of maximize that end future value is really by that exponential factor. Like, how long are you keeping your feet in this investment? How long have you kept your money invested in that specific bond or stock or index fund, mutual fund, hedge fund, whatever it may be? So really what we're trying to get across today is the fact that if you keep your hand in investment for the long term, it's almost inevitable that you make more money than you would have if you didn't have your position in that investment for as long a period. So it's not rocket science what we're trying to say. What we're trying to say is that as young individuals, we have 20, 30, 40, probably in 50 plus years to be holding investments that are going to grow, at a exponential rate for years to come. So really, why not even look into that specific investment opportunity that you have as a young individual? But yeah, no, I think that's actually the majority of all I can tell you through talk. What I really do want to show you is this model that we actually found. So let's actually just head to my laptop and get straight into that. Okay, so before we actually get started, I just want to disclaim that the following depiction or picture or model or whatever you want to call it was not actually created by me. I found it on this article by a guy that goes by the name of Matt. I really don't want to butcher his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Matt D. I highly encourage anyone who's watching this video to supplement it by going to the link to this article, which will be in the description below or the caption or whatever, and check out this article. I did go through it, and it can really relate to us as young individuals, whether you are a young professional that just graduated or you're still a student in high school. He really relates this whole concept of why you should be investing as early as possible when you're a young individual. He really illustrates it well, so I encourage you to come here and take a look at it for further information. But other than that, we can just get straight to the main thing I've been wanting to show you, which is the depiction. So let's get to that. Alright, so here it is, guys. This is the model that I want to show you. We're just gonna have some standard constants that we need in order to show the concept here. So what they have chosen is to have two different individuals. The arbitrary rate of return that we're using is 10% per annum. As you can see here, you guys can read, they're doing David invests his $2,000 yearly from the age of 19 to 26, whereas Bruce starts about what would have been, that's like 7 years later. He starts at age 26, and he continuously invests that $2,000 annually until the age of 65. So now what I really want you to understand, and what will make more sense as I go through this, you can see right here, David only does this from ages 19 to 26. He's only taking money out of his bank account and putting into investment for these years, 19 to 26, whereas Bruce, he doesn't do anything until the age of 27, but he continuously puts in $2,000 every year up until the age of 65. Now, what really strikes me about this is, even though David invested he had an initial principal of a lower amount, meaning that of his own money, right, he put in less of his own money to his investments, yet he still ended up with over $1 million by the age of 65. Whereas Bruce, who invested way more, much more, I think it was it's 62k more than David did, but still ended up with only $883,000. So more than $100,000 was earned by David simply because he leveraged his advantage of time, and he started when he was younger, right? Now, obviously, we are assuming this 10% average rate year over year, and although I do think that's realistic, it's not a guarantee. However, I do think this is a quite a fair and conservative amount to use, as there are very many investment opportunities that can give you this 10% year over year rate, right? But it's the picture, it really says it all. You guys can do the math behind it if you want to yourselves, but what I really want you to see is that fact that David he just started when he was younger, and he didn't even need to continue putting in all those investments from ages 27 to 65, yet because of compound interest and because of the fact that he was able to earn return upon his initial return continuously, right, for that long period of time,
he ended off with a greater balance, right? And this is the main concept of what we're really trying to push here at the Young Funds program, is that, I mean, in Canada, you're legally able to invest or have your own investing account at the age of 18, right? That's when you can actually say, okay, I'm going to put in my own money under my own, SIN number and identification with the brokerage firm, and say, I'm going to go out and buy investments. And I highly encourage anyone who is 18 to look into these investment opportunities, because I'm not out here trying to say to anyone that you need to go and highly educate yourself on how to determine the next stock that's gonna pop, because quite frankly, I don't think it's worth the time, unless you're like someone who does this for their living. I don't think it's worth the time to actually go out and find out what's going to yield you the highest return the fastest way. All I'm trying to say is that anyone who has the opportunity to be investing their money and has money to invest should be taking advantage of this opportunity. And being a young individual myself, I know that we young students do have money, because we're out all the time blowing it on either going to the club or buying food, going to concerts and whatever it may be. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. Like, I do that myself. All I'm saying is you need to be aware of your future, and I really do encourage you to have a forward-thinking mindset. And one of the best ways to do that is by aiming to optimize your future financial situations. And one of the best ways to do that is by putting your money into investments for the long term, like David and Bruce have done, and I commend both of them for doing it. It's just that, in this case, I think David did a much better job by realizing his opportunities from a younger age and leveraging those 8 years of investing, and ending off with a nice wealth status of over $1 million. He's now a millionaire. Guys, I don't know, this depiction, it just always gets to me, because I completely understand, and it just clicks with everything that I've been trying to say since I started my own investment research and whatnot. So I always love coming back to it. And kudos to Matt, and I'm not sure if he said he was a part of a team, but if he was a part of his team, Matt and team, for drafting this up, because it's something that we really need to understand, and something that we really need to know. But honestly, guys, that's all I had for you today. The advantage that we have as young individuals when it comes to investing is huge, and I highly encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities. I do apologize. This content release was a little bit late. I was finishing up the co-op I had and whatnot, and things got a little busy. But now that I'm back on school, I have more time on my hands than I did before. So I'm gonna try and get more consistent content out as we go along. But if you aren't already aware, we do have some other avenues going on with the Young Funds program, such as the Investor of the Week program. You guys can find that on our website under the content updates section, and then the Investor of the Week listing. If you yourself are a young investor and would like to be featured on our channel or on our through our social media networks, be sure to go out to our website and see how you can actually do that. We have a link where you can go and fill out the form and whatnot.
So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. That is actually all I have for you today. More importantly, I actually hope you took something away from it. If anything didn't really make sense, if you guys have a point that you'd like to bring forward or anything like that, we do have a discussion board on Facebook. If you want to find it, it's actually probably easiest for you to go to our website, and on our homepage we have a button that says join the discussion or something like that. So our website is youngfundsprogram.com. You can find it there. If you have not yet joined the family, guys, please be sure to like us on Facebook. Our handle is youngfundsprogram.com. Follow us on LinkedIn. Our handle is youngfundsprogram. You can actually now follow us on our newly made Instagram page. Our handle is Young Funds Program, and also on Twitter, our handle is YFP_official. We'll be sure to get you followed back on anything that's of that nature. And Other than that, again, thank you for coming by. If you haven't checked out any of our previous videos, be sure to go to our website or our YouTube channel or one of our social medias and you can find it there. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. As always, carpe diem and be blessed.